Hey guys, as you read the title, that's right. I'm going to react to How Strong Is Deku from Artificial Divine. And before we get started, there's something I need to say. Enough with the freaking Deku slander, bro. As the season go on and on and on, Deku can be just passed like crybaby to freaking crash out. Of all the heroes that I've seen who has their crash out moments, Deku gotta be one of them. And I'm pretty sure Artificial Divine gonna tell us how strong he is. I know Death Battle just or tells us like most of his feats and what kind of quirks he had, but that's like final art Deku, and we're gonna see how strong he really is in Artificial Divine's perspective. And enough of the Deku slander. That shit is like years old. Enough with that shit. Anyway, I got that off my chest, and I hope you guys enjoy My Hero Academia final season. But for me, I'm gonna still go watch the final season. But then and we watched like all the other seasons because I have like the most fun. And out of all the Shonen Jump animes, My Hero Academia gotta be one of my favorites. Anyway, I'll fix that one later. Let's get this going in 3, 2, 1.
Izuku Midoriya. Within this superhuman society, 80% of them possesses some uncanny ability called a quirk. Cities swirled with chaos and confusion following the appearance of these powers, and a new profession emerged. We call those who fight for justice and help others in need heroes. Oh, and by the way, this is the story of how Deku became the world's strongest hero. Izuku Midoriya, one of the 20% of humanity born without a quirk, in a world where power is as common as breathing and weakness is a life sentence. The boy who could only watch from the crowd while gods walk the street, told to give up on his dreams before he could ever reach them. But Deku's heart didn't shatter, it sharpened, and then fate answered. The day his idol, the symbol of peace, All Might himself, looked into his eyes and saw the unshakable will of a true hero. And in that moment, One for All was born within him. Not his strength, but a living legacy. The combined willpower of 8 predecessors, now in the palm of his hand. A spark became a flame, and that flame would one day become a wildfire that could burn down the reigns of villains entirely. Deku would go on to train his body to be able to withstand the strength of the #1 hero and get accepted into the #1 hero school in Japan. Deku trained for 10 months to make his body worthy of holding it, and when the UA entrance exam came, a boy who once couldn't even run 100 meters without gasping for breath leapt into the air and closed his fist to save a life. And within his mind he remembered All Might's words for how to use his power that he's seen 1,000 times. A full power Detroit.
Yo, Deku's voice actor went crazy.
Deku was able to shatter a 0-point robot with a single punch, with the force equivalent to collapsing a city block, breaking every bone in his arm, but proving one thing, that this is the birth of a hero. His early control of One for All was measured in percentages. At 5%, he was already matching pro heroes' speed and strength, blitzing across rooftops and dodging gunfire, and delivering blows that could crater the pavement. But then came Muscular, a villain whose quirks stacked layers of muscle fibers on top of his body until he was a walking tank. At full power, Muscular could obliterate concrete walls, tear apart steel, and overwhelm heroes with sheer brute strength. Deku should have lost at 5%. He couldn't match Muscular's output, but when Koda's life was on the line, something inside him ignited. He pushed beyond his limits, using One for All at 1,000,000%.
Yeah, he rocked the Get out that nib.
This punch is so above his baseline strength that it sent shockwaves tearing through the forest, crumpling Muscular to the ground and knocking him unconscious. This wasn't just power, it was proof that he could drag his body past his breaking point and still win. Not long after, the hero killer Stain put that will to the test again. Stain was faster than most could see, able to immobilize with a single cut. Deku at 5% was able to dodge his slashes encountered with mobility and timing, showing that even without matching raw power, One For All made him a threat in the realm of killers, even among heroes. Then came Chisaki, or Overhaul, a man who could disassemble and reassemble anything at will, reshaping the battlefield in an instant. His quirk made him basically untouchable, and in his grip was Eri, a little girl whose quirk could rewind a body to its previous state. And since Deku's body can't handle his full strength, the cards played out just right. In this fight, Deku became something else entirely. With Eri rewinding his body as he fought, he could unleash One For All at 100% full cowling without tearing himself apart. Every strike cracked the sky. Overhaul's towering fused monstrosity, made of muscles, debris, and twisted quirk energy, was ripped apart by a storm of blows. At 100%, Deku's output rivaled All Might at full strength, who's capable of producing enough energy to shatter city blocks with a single hit. With All Might even in the beginning having weights on his arms that are half his body weight and suppressing his strength, was able to send a shockwave through an entire city block with a single punch. By the end, Overhaul lay broken in the ruins of his own arrogance, and Eri had been saved. But this wasn't just another victory for Deku. This was proof that Deku could wield One For All at its peak. After the Paranormal Liberation War, Deku became a ghost, with Shigaraki and All For One hunting him. Staying at UA meant endangering everyone he cared about, so he vanished, moving city to city, fighting villains in the rain and shadows, keeping his quirk active for weeks without rest. Lady Nagant, the nation's deadliest sniper, a former pro hero whose bullets bent through the air like hunting falcons. At 45% full cowling with Faji in charge, Deku blitzed her across multiple rooftops in a torrential storm, dodging hypersonic rounds that could punch through steel, calculating trajectories mid-fight, and closing the distance faster than she could even reload. The fight ended with Black Whip coiling around her mid-air, showing the difference between a sniper and a hero. The final war was a combination of every lesson, every scar. Shigaraki, fused with All For One, had durability and regeneration on par with All Might at his strongest, plus decay that could wipe entire cities in seconds. Most heroes couldn't even get close without being erased from existence. But Deku's answer was everything at once. Black Whip to immobilize, Danger Sense to prevent preemptive lethal blows, Float to own the air, Fajin to multiply his stored kinetic energy 5-fold, and finally Gear Shift, the second user's quirk that allowed him to alter the speed of anything he touched, including himself. In Overdrive, Deku accelerated so violently that Shigaraki couldn't even perceive him, and the final punch was a combination of every quirk stacked, every percentage of One For All multiplied, striking with enough force to punch a hole through a being who could tank country-level attacks. And with that blow, the greatest villain of his generation fell, but so did the embers of One For All itself. After graduation, Deku became a teacher at UA, passing on the history of heroes to the next generation, but the fire never left. 8 years later, advancements in support tech gave him the tools to fight again, no longer One For All's wielder, but still the same boy who ran headfirst into danger without any power, even making it to top 4 heroes in the world, so good job Deku. And at this point in the series, multiple characters have been able to react to, dodge, and even catch light-based attacks, making Deku faster than light. Overall, Deku would scale to country level with faster than light speed. And shout out to Jesse who sent 50 to sponsor this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. In the end, Deku has come a long way from possessing no quirk to possessing the strongest out of all of them, with power to rise above anyone in his way and become the #1 hero in the world. He started at the bottom, but he'll never finish last. So go beyond plus ultra and hit a god with a smash.
Whoa!
What's up, guys? It's Divine. For you guys,
That is different. Okay, that was pretty crazy. Hit a god with a smash. That is a crazy. That's a crazy way of saying. Anyway, that's today's video. If you like it, hit the like button, comment down below, hit the subscribe button. Until then, later, guys.